Alright, let's do this. Oh. Crappy rainy days. I'm trying to even think of where we were yesterday. I did more tidbits, and I think, I don't know if I made the error about saying Cubine is a human, not a gremlin. It's not exactly true. Cubine is whatever you want Cubine to be. Cubine is whatever I want Cubine to be. If I want Cubine to be human, Cubine's human. It's difficult to describe it like that. And talking in third person is kind of crazy. Because as much as he is me, he's also not. I don't know how to describe it like that. So, but I'm the human, and I was talking about myself in third person. So, the reason I said that is because originally I was not going to be a VTuber. If you listen to the thank you song, you'll see that I had almost no intention of ever becoming a VTuber. I mean, my thank you song to you says, if I was a VTuber, then again, no. Means I thought about it, but I was like, it definitely is for a whole different class. I had given up. This is what people don't realize. I had given up art. I mean, given it up. I had no intention of ever even doing it again. No sculpting, no painting, no nothing. And if I did anything like that, it would just be as a hobby. People ask me why. Why would you give that up? It's a talent. I was somewhat talented, I guess. Enough to pay the bills. But I was so disillusioned by the entire art community, the entire art world. critic. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I was. So that aside, in order for me to be a VTuber, I would have had to pay like, $8,000 or whatever it was for a VTuber model. Or create a V-Roid model and everything like that. And I didn't even think I could even make any money doing this. So when I started out, it was supposed to. When I started out as a streamer, it was literally supposed to just be a one-off of me feeling sorry for myself. I'd watched VTubers grow. I'd watched VTubers pretty much from the start. And I loved it. I love anime, so seeing pretty much anime girls communicating with, as streamers was fascinating to me. And I was still streaming. I was literally going to be making parody songs, basically parodying actual singers, and touting myself as this like lousy singer, which I am. Basically doing what they do. It was my niche. It was my niche. Long story short, a person got ripped off by Fiverr, didn't get the picture that they wanted. I had already done my first, not digital, but drawing. In the digital world. Well, I drew it. It was a hand-drawn picture. Doodle. Was for a VTuber who wanted themselves as, oh my god, I forgot the character's name from Chowder. But they wanted them as this kitty cat, and they were a leopard VTuber, so I made the leopard out of it. Literally, that is the start of that is the origin of even me turning everybody into cues, all that stuff. it started with the very first drawing that I did as a streamer. But a person got ripped off by Fiverr. They commissioned an art, a piece of work. All of their friends trick-or-treating, and it was 2 weeks till Halloween and they didn't get it. So I, in 2 weeks time, on Halloween, finished it and did the trick-or-treating piece. That wasn't digital art, that was me hand drawing it and then converting it and coloring it with Photoshop. And people I was doing the trick-or-treating for, they were all VTubers as well. Or just starting out as VTubers. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it immensely. They told me to, you know, if I was a VTuber, what VTuber would I be? And I said I would be a platypus. And they told me that the beak's too difficult, this is too difficult, blah, 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 and everything like that. So I actually drew up a quick sketch of what that would actually look like. And I did the front view, the side view, the back view of it. So gotta go October, November, December. Like this is the progression. It was already December. I had finished most of the outline. I was going to, go PNG, not. Even though I was looking at the 2D modeling and stuff like that, but I was going to reveal myself as a PNG tuber anyway. I had written a novel. About I don't know if people know this, but changelings take over babies, and people end up raising changeling babies. I believe it's kind of like I'm trying to think of the name of the bird that does this, that puts their egg in the nest, for robins and stuff like that, and then when the egg hatches, it kicks all the other babies out of the egg, out of the nest. Usually they're still in eggs, so they took all the eggs out of the nest, and then they're raised by robins. Something like that. It's that's kind of what I envisioned the changeling world was like, except that they swapped. The baby themselves goes to the Fae while the changeling is raised. with human parents. So instead of it being the story about that, what's going on in the human world, it's what's going on in the Fey world, and growing up human in the Fey world. That makes sense. I wrote this story, many years ago, and so I use that as the basis for my lore. What me being a VTuber is that I come to this world after being in the Fey world basically my entire life. So that's the gimmick. So I'm a human, but I don't know how to be human. Cubing is the gremlin model for cubing is an emoji. It's an emoji with a little, fat little belly, and gave them horns. And the idea behind it was that it was just going to do it was going to emote. Like that. Very simple. Simple, easy peasy. So the truth of the matter is I really don't have any lore. I did not think that I thought that I would get one or two likes. So it was kind of a struggle last night. Trying to come up with how much of the story is true, how much the gremlin model do I retain, am I a platypus? I don't know. I literally gave up the platypus idea after almost completing it. I was actually in the middle of rigging it when I finished the Christmas card that I made everybody into chibis all around, basically Santa Claus, and it was the first group art that I did that actually included me in it. Long story short, I got suspended on Twitch, changed my name. I went from Q Hope to Q Bean, and that went through. Q Bean is my fourth name, if you include Q Hope. But they all had Q's. They were all Q's. All my names had Q in them. Because that was my nickname, basically my entire life. I had a few other nicknames, but Q has been my nickname for the longest time. there are people as old as me and even older that still only know me as Q. They don't even know my real name. So I always thought that was funny. Like, there was a part of me that kind of had always hoped that some of those people would have revealed themselves and join me on this journey, but as of right now, nobody. There's nobody. I shouldn't say no. It's not nobody. There's some people who are very, very close to me, who have been on this journey with me from the start. They've been on the journey since before I was even Q. Years before I was a streamer. But like as the group, using an example, I started this channel as a behind the scenes for another channel that was supposed to do like, you know, crazy skits and things like that. This channel was supposed to be just a behind the scene thing. And I've kind of kept that up. It's kind of been a behind the scenes of my streaming. You know, it's pretty much everything. I dump everything in here. But Morning Commute is exactly, you know, this segment, or whatever that you're watching, is exactly what I thought I was going to actually create. Which is like me driving cross country and me, you know, having a guest, you know, doing kind of like a behind the scenes for the show. And the show never happened. The show never materialized. There was talk about, you know, going solo and doing a show. You know, what Q knows and stuff like that type of thing. Answer any questions people put forward, and I couldn't look it up, I couldn't research it, I wouldn't be allowed to do any of those things. And obviously if like somebody asked me a movie question or a nerd question or something like that, I probably would get the answer right, and I would answer it like that. But if somebody asked me like anything else, like relationship questions or you know, anything else, auto repair, yeah, like anything else, anything that's not nerd world stuff, I don't know anything, but I would make up an answer instead of saying I don't know it. I would just make up an answer, and then we'd have the real answer on the bottom. And that was actually kind of fun to contemplate, to do, but I never got that off the ground, and that's all my fault. years old when I started, and I started in January. And I think I created this channel like in July or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look it up what my creation is. This channel is definitely much older than like 5 years. I mean, I think we're celebrating our 13th year. This year. For the channel being around. Which I was told, don't start up. Just create a new channel. Don't start it up. And I was just like, I'm not going to create a new channel. This isn't going to go anywhere. This is just going to be my 50th birthday and, the end. I was going to put a bunch of stuff up and, see what was what. And the response was, I'm going to be, can I be totally honest with you? The response was almost nothing. But I had a blast doing it. And but the response was, I don't even think I got a like or a comment like in the first 6 months. It's definitely different now, and I'm in a pretty good groove right now. This is a pretty good groove, but like I said, I had no reason to continue, but I don't know if I did have a reason to continue. I don't know if I would have continued, if that makes sense. It, like, everything just lined up. Everything just lined up the way it was supposed to line up. And that's why it happened. It's just like why I became, a Twitch streamer. It just lined up that way. I was just going with the flow. There's a reason that my very first video is I'm doing this wrong. I listened to all the advice. I even took the original advice that I had about starting up a channel and working with people and getting, networking and all this other stuff. And, yeah, they, all accumulated. I don't, if somebody asks me, like, questions about being a streamer, I have no answers. The only thing as a streamer that I followed through with is I was always myself. And that's a complicated craziness all in and of its own. So it is what it is. Yeah, but the lore, I'm I'm always pleasantly surprised. Like, I remember back in the day, back in the day, um, when um, I remember like when I, oh my god, I'm saying I remember and I forgot, but oh my god, literally out in one ear out the other. Um, oh, I remember it. I remember. I remember berries. Petra Farms remembers. Um, but back in the day when I posted something like get to know me or something like this, and I had thousands of followers on freaking Twitter, and I would do those things like all the time, and I'd be lucky if I hit 10. I'd be lucky if I hit, sometimes I would hit 5. There's been a few times, and even when I was giving out free art, there's a few times that I posted up for free art and nobody responded. I've had so many people tell me like going, oh, you should do commissions, and I'm like going, I have a merch page. What do you need? People could ask me and I can do it and I can set it up in a merch page. Um, all right. As always, um, cool beans in the comments below. Doesn't have to be cool beans. It can be whatever you want. You can ask questions. If you think that I should start up a freaking talk show about me answering questions, I will answer your question here if it's a crazy question. Like I said, I'm pretty good with movies and I'm pretty good with anything that, like nerdy things. I'm pretty good with it. Yeah. Pretty good. There's things that I don't know, and if you ask something really obscure, I probably don't know it. I don't know anything. But I will answer and I will find the answer, and if you know the answer, you can even laugh at me in comments. Like, that was what it was supposed to be. And I kind of wish I started it up. The responses that people, it's the reason why, I mean, I've tested out a lot of different things, just so you know. Just for your information. I've tested out trying different things and doing different things, and I've only gone with what is either most popular or something that I can continuously do. And ever since I started drawing, I kind of like, dropped off of creating loud noises, which there's, the drawing took over that. And I wish it didn't in some respects, but I love doing the art. I love doing fan art. I love being able to create things without having to worry about commissions and deadlines and stuff like that. Oh, that's where the reason that I don't do commissions. And 2 years ago, I was asked this all the time. Because I would do commissions. I can get things done. I could crank out. I was a commercial artist. I know how to crank out, somebody's design in lickety-split time. Even though it might take me a little bit longer because I'm doing digitally, I can always do it. I can always do it practically and, take a photograph of it and then digitally create it from there. But I've gotten pretty good. At doing digital art. So I might even just be able to do it digitally. It's one of the things, just so you know, one of the things that the reason why I even attempted doing it, and that's from drawing to scanning, when I was drawing to scanning and stuff like that. One of the reasons why I went to just all digital is because one of the streams that I love the most are artist drawing. I love those streams. If I see art listed as what they're doing, I almost immediately click on it to watch it. And because I love it so much, that's the reason why I did a lot of art streams. But yeah, cool beans in the comments below. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic time doing it. I appreciate all the support. This year has been, for the YouTube channel, has been like almost monumental. And I am like cautiously optimistic, but I adore it beyond belief. And you guys are the reason why it makes it happen. You are everything to me. You are the reason why I'm still a streamer. You are the reason why I still do these morning commutes. So I can't thank you enough. But yeah, I'm gonna, I think I should flesh out the entire freaking lore for QBean. And who knows, maybe one of these days I will be a platypus PNGer. And basically just for shits and giggles. Because that's fun. And yeah, maybe one of these days. Alright? I hope you're having a good time. And I will see you hopefully we'll do this tomorrow. Alright, take care. Alright.